To meet it, you have to leave the world. Not travel to the far edge of it. Leave it. There is no road that reaches this Pokémon, no cave it sleeps in, no field where it waits. You find it one way only. You climb to the highest point in the world, the peak the old religion calls the place where creation began. And you arrive at the exact moment someone is tearing a hole in the sky. And then you step through the hole, and you fall out of everything. On the other side, the rules are gone. Waterfalls pour upward. Islands of dead rock hang in a gray void with nothing beneath them and nothing holding them up. The floor is the wall and the wall is the ceiling, and far under your feet a slow whirlpool of broken sky turns and turns. And there is no time, not slowed, not frozen strange, simply gone. Nothing ages here. Nothing moves toward anything. There is only a single endless afternoon that never tips over into evening. And in all of that, the whole broken, weightless, timeless world, there is exactly one living thing. It has been here alone since before the world had any years to count. And the entire time, it has been doing one thing: watching. Every town you have ever walked through, every friend you made on the road, every small, forgettable afternoon of the ordinary life you were living, it saw all of it from the far side of a mirror you never knew was there. Not with hunger, not with hate, just watching. The way a person stands on a winter street and looks up at a lit window, at a warm room full of people that they are not allowed to walk into. This is the story of how it ended up out there. And it is not the story you would guess, because the one who put it there was not a villain. It was the God who made it. Before the world, the real before, when there was nothing yet to begin, there was Arceus, the nearest thing this universe has to God, the first Pokémon, the one the old faith says shaped existence out of the void. And it did not do the shaping alone. It made three children born from the same source in the same first instant, and to each it handed a piece of reality to carry. To the first it gave time, every moment, the whole forward pull of things, the plain fact that one event follows another. To the second it gave space, distance, dimension, the room for anything to be anywhere at all. And to the third, it gave the reverse of both, the dark mirror, the underside, the antimatter against which all that new, bright matter could even be measured. And that word is the first quiet clue to why it could never simply be brought back. Antimatter is not just the opposite of matter, it is matter's annihilator. In the real science the games took the idea from, the moment the two so much as touch, they do not coexist. They cancel each other completely, both gone at once in a single flash of light, nothing left behind. So the third child was made from its very first instant into the one thing that could not share a world with everything else in it. Not from any cruelty in it, but written into the deepest level of what it was. It could love the bright world from a distance, all it wanted. It could never once set foot inside it without the two of them ending together. The third was not a spare or a rough draft or the runt of the litter. The records are flat about this. It was the equal of its siblings in every way that counts. As strong as time, as strong as space, a full god in its own right. 3 equal hands set to the largest task there is. Between them, they built a universe. And then the universe was finished. The world stood full and turning and alive. And the Maker looked at the 3 it had made, at the 2 who held time and space, and at the 3rd. And it kept 2 of them, and it sent the 3rd away. Not for anything it had done. The record is exact on this, and the exactness is the cruelest part. It was sent away for what it was. It was banished for its violence. It was the intense one, the one whose nature ran hot and fast and dangerous in a way the other 2's did not. It had broken no law. It had betrayed no one. It had only been made with a temper that unsettled the very thing that made it. And so, of the 3, it became the one the world could not keep. It had been handed a fire by its own Maker, and then cast out for being warm, not punished for a crime, punished for its nature. The single thing it had never chosen and could never change was the exact thing it lost everything for. What turns it from a sad story into an unfair one is a detail most players never reach. The other 2 were not gentle either. Time and space enraged are catastrophes. The old accounts say the first 2 children, when their tempers slipped, could warp and crack the very things they were built to govern. That a furious god of time or of space is among the most dangerous things that can exist. The Maker knew this. It had seen it. And for those 2 children, it built a kindness. 3 small guardian spirits, created for one purpose and one only, to go to its volatile children whenever they lost control, and calm them, soothe them, talk them down before they could do harm. Hold those 2 facts next to each other, because the whole heartbreak lives in the gap between them. 3 children, all with a dangerous fire. For 2 of them, the Maker built a system of care, minders whose entire existence was to love them through their worst moments and clean up after them. For the 3rd, with the same fire, it built none of that. No minder, no soothing voice, no second chance. It simply decided that this one's version of the flaw was the unforgivable version, and it removed it from the world. That is not the story of a monster being safely contained. It is the story of one child out of 3 marked to carry a blame the other 2 were spared, and it was never really about the fire. All 3 had the fire. It was about which of them had already, in silence, been chosen to be the one the world threw out. The verdict came down before it ever got to speak, and it never even fought back at first. It went where it was sent. Where it was sent is the reverse world, that broken, weightless, timeless place from the start of all this. And waiting for it there was a strange and terrible mercy wearing the mask of a punishment. When the third child was born, it had a true shape. Long, serpentine, legless, streaming. A thing built to pour through open air, weightless and whole. In the reverse world, it keeps that shape. Floating free in the one place that has no up and no down to obey, it is completely, exactly itself, at the full reach of its power. But let it cross back into the real world, the bright one, the one it presses against the glass to watch, the one it aches to be let back inside, and that world refuses to let it stay as it is. The real world's gravity, the very gravity it once helped to build, grabs it and forces it to change. It has to grow legs it was never meant to have, just to hold itself up. It loses its real power. It is dragged down into a heavier, smaller, patched together shape. A lesser version of itself it has to wear simply to survive in the place it came from. There is one more turn of the knife in the fine print. A way does exist for it to keep its true shape in the real world, but only by gathering power enough to rival Arceus itself. To stand whole in the world it was cast out of, it would have to become the equal of the god that cast it out. Anything short of that, and the bargain holds. And this is the saddest thing the game's ever built into a rule. The place of its punishment is the only place it gets to be whole. Its true self, full, free, undiminished, exists nowhere but inside its exile. The home it aches to return to would make it less than it is the instant it crossed back in. It can have its real shape, or it can have the world it longs for. Never both. That is the bargain this creature lives inside, with no end and no exit. To be whole, stay cast out. To go home, become less. There is no door it can walk through that gives it both. There is a line in the oldest records of this world, a scrap of an ancient verse that says a powerful light once cast a deep shadow, and the scholar who wrote it down adds a quiet guess that the deep shadow in the verse is this creature. It is the most beautiful thing anyone has said about it, and the most damning, and folded inside it is a piece of wisdom so plain it is easy to walk straight past. A light does not get to choose whether it throws a shadow. The brighter it burns, the deeper the dark behind it. They come into the world together. You cannot have the one without the other. So when the Maker made itself the brightest thing in existence, it made, in the same motion, without ever deciding to, the deepest shadow that could possibly exist. And that shadow was its third child. Not a flaw it let slip. The unavoidable cost of its own brilliance. The price of all that light was a darkness cut to exactly the same depth. And then it turned and looked at the dark it could not have helped creating, and called it violent, and threw it away for the sin of being dark. But the shadow was never the enemy of the light. It was the proof of it. The brighter the Maker burned, the deeper the dark it threw behind itself. And the more there was, just out of its own sight, that it could not stand to look at. What it could not stand to look at, it named a sin. What it named a sin, it sent away. The light did not destroy its shadow. It could not. It only refused to face it and exiled it to the one place it would never have to. Now the turn that should change how you see the whole exile. The wisest characters in these games slowly come to suspect that the reverse world is not a cell the maker happened to have lying around. They suspect it is a counterweight, that the broken, timeless underside exists in order to balance the bright, ordered front, and that one cannot stand without the other. Take away the dark mirror, and the real world has nothing holding its far end. It comes down, which means the thing the maker threw away was never disposable. It is load-bearing. The world it chose to keep stays standing only because the child it exiled and the broken world it exiled it into are down there holding up the other end of everything in silence the whole time. The one it called the problem was the wall the rest of it leaned on. It only never had to know that because the wall never once stopped holding. So, what does it do after all of that? After being made by a god, blamed for the fire that god handed it, and exiled from a world it helped to build. For a long time, it hated its maker. It carried a deep, old grudge against the god that made it. And for a stretch of eternity, it wanted one thing only: for the one who had made it and discarded it to finally have to answer for it. It was ready to stand against its own creator, to take the side of anyone who would help it strike back. There was nothing strange in that, and nothing evil. It was the most natural thing there is. It was what it was owed. And then it did something it owed no one. A man came along who had decided the human heart, all its feeling, all its pain, was a flaw he meant to delete. He seized the creature's two siblings, time and space, and tried to use them to tear all of reality apart and rebuild it cold and perfect and empty. Both worlds were about to end, the bright one and the broken one. And the one creature that could have simply let it burn, the one with every reason in existence to fold its arms and watch the world that rejected it finally collapse, did not fold its arms. It came out of the timeless, empty place it had been banished to. The exile rose, crossed the glass it had only ever been able to look through, and re-entered the world that had thrown it out, to save it. Not because it was asked, not because it had been forgiven or invited or thanked, and not because it ever would be, but because, when the moment finally came, the thing that had been watching that world for all of frozen eternity turned out to have been watching over it the entire time. That is the highest thing in the whole story, and the hardest. It had been wronged past any reasonable hope of repair. It had been cast out and blamed, and never once made right. And when the moment came, it chose, not from weakness, not from debt, but as the one free choice that was wholly its own, to be the thing that protected what had hurt it. There is not always forgiveness in that. There is something rarer than forgiveness. A creature deciding, with the full memory of everything that was done to it, to be better than the God who did it. And there is one last quiet piece of justice in how it lands. The man who tried to erase his own heart, who threw away his own feeling the way the maker threw away its child, is the one who gets left behind, trapped at the end in the reverse world itself. The world of the thrown away kept him. It always did have room for one more thing that had decided it was better off without a heart. We built a god in a game made for children, and we gave that god 3 children of its own. And we wrote it so that it kept 2 and exiled the 3rd for the unforgivable crime of being exactly what it had been made to be. That is a heavy thing to fold into a story about catching monsters in the grass. And the games told it without blinking, and then told the part these stories usually leave out, that the one who was thrown away turned out to be the better of the 2, that the rejected one was the thing holding everything else up, that the only place it ever got to be its whole true self was the exile it would never have chosen. It is still out there, right now, on the reverse side of everything, beneath the floating islands, in the slow turn of a broken sky. In a world where time does not move, so it has not aged a single day, and it never will. The only one of its kind, in the one place it is allowed to be itself, watching the world it loved enough to save, and was never, not once, allowed to enter. If you ever climbed the top of the world, and the air in front of you cracks like a sheet of ice, think for a second about what is on the other side of it. Something that was made and blamed and thrown away. Something that had every right in existence to let you fall. And that has been quietly holding your whole world up the entire time you never knew its name. The file stays open.